It sounds like you're looking for an assembly video for the Huffy Stone Mountain bike. Huffy sometimes provides assembly guides on their website or YouTube channel. Would you like me to find an official video for you?
Congrats on picking up a new Huffy Stone Mountain. I'm trying to get this thing put together. In order to get started, we just need a few tools to get your bike built. First of all, we need a pedal wrench or a 15mm wrench, a set of metric Allen wrenches. I also like to use this fancy little thing, a pair of cable cutters or scissors to cut the zip ties, a Phillips head screwdriver, an adjustable wrench, and maybe a knife. Well, let's get right to it. So if you've got your bike in the box still, let's go ahead and get it out of the package and get all of the packaging off of it. So let's go ahead and get started now. Got a parts box, put that to the side. And your seat and seat post. And I'm just taking a pair of cable cutters here, and you can use scissors or a box cutter, but be careful if you're using a box cutter that you don't cut yourself or scratch the bike. So scissors or cable cutters work great on all these zip ties here. You got your handlebars attached to the frame and the front wheel. Any of that stuff that you see attached with a zip tie, go ahead and cut that off. We're gonna get rid of most of this foam. Just be careful we don't scratch the bike up, but you wanna separate all this stuff. Put the front wheel to the side, and if it looks like this, you're in good shape. Now that you've got your bike out of the box and you've got most of the packaging off, sometimes I like to leave the down tube and the top tube pad on just so we don't scratch it as we're going. That's totally up to you, personal preference. But the first thing that I like to do is put the seat post on so I can put it in my work stand. One thing to note, if you don't have a bike work stand at home, you can do the same process on the floor. You can even take the bike box and just flatten it out and use it as a work surface. You can even hang your bike from the seat from a chair, or you can get creative and make your own kind of work stand. But for purposes of showing you how to build, I'm gonna use this bike work stand. So the first thing we're gonna do is grab the seat and get rid of that packaging too. And any chance you can, recycle this cardboard if possible, but your manual is going to be attached to the seat. And get rid of this packaging here. I'm going to go ahead and clip this off. And the first order of business is to put your seat post into the frame here, and you've got this quick release seat post clamp. So the way this works is that you get this tension. You tighten the left side here, and then it squashes over on the seat post like this. And so later we're gonna adjust the seat at the very end when the bike is completely built and you can see all the angles. But for now, we're just gonna put that in. So you've got about a fist amount of space on the seat post there. And you wanna tighten this, and if it still wiggles, then you're gonna loosen this and tighten the nut right here just a little bit. And you can do these tiny little increments and it makes a huge difference. So let's try that. Tighten it up a little bit more. It's like maybe 2 quarter turns. And that's great for now. All we're doing is using this to hold the bike up. Okay, now that I've got the seat on, I'm gonna put this in the work stand. It's gonna make it way easier for you to see and for me to build. Okay. So now that we're on the work stand, let's go ahead and open up that parts box. So I'll take my box cutter here and just be careful not to cut anything inside. And what do we got in here? We have your pedals, set of pedals, an Allen wrench to help you build it, a Phillips head screwdriver, and another size Allen wrench. So if you don't have your own set of Allen wrenches, these will work just fine. This metal piece is your derailleur hanger protector, and a little handy multi-tool that you can even save to keep in a bike bag while you ride, just as emergencies. And then go ahead and get rid of this box and set everything else aside. And so you do have your manual, keep hold of that, but I'm gonna put it over here for now. And once again, I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of the packaging off now that we're in the stand. And you have this little cardboard thing up here that has a plastic block in it. You can go ahead and pull that out too. It might take a little bit of force, but just a little plastic block in a cardboard tube, and you can discard those. So the first thing I want to do now that I'm in the stand, I've got all the packaging off, is go ahead and put the handlebars on so that we're not just dangling and beating the bike up. This plastic little piece, that's going to come off. And one of the most important steps of the entire build is to make sure that the forks are facing the right direction. So if you get your bike and out of the box, the brakes are facing the bike, that is not right. So we want to make sure that your brakes are facing forward, always like this, just like that. It could be dangerous if you don't do that. So make sure you do this step. And then we're gonna put the handlebars, and this is called the stem, into the frame here. And if you pick it up, and these are all twisted, and it looks kind of like this, just go ahead and twist that around until this looks nice and tidy, and all these cables are nice and free. And so really, this thing just slips right into here, just like that. So again, forks are facing forward, brakes are out this way, and your cables are nice and free, just like that. And then you grab your Allen wrench. So you can either use the wrench that's provided, but this is the tool that I've been using for a long time, and it has a 4, 5, and 6 millimeter on it. I just love this one. So we take the 6 millimeter up to this top bolt right here, and you want to give just a little bit of space. You'll find that there's a minimum insertion line, and there's some marks right here on the stem. If you are too high and these are showing, that's dangerous. So you want to make sure that your stem is dropped down into there, and it can either be all the way down or even up just a little bit. That's your preference. And for now, it doesn't have to be perfectly straight. We'll do that later on in the build, but just go ahead and get this tight and snug up that top bolt there with your 6 millimeter wrench. It should work just like this. And if you look like this, you're doing good so far. And the next step is to grab your front wheel. We've got some more packaging to get rid of. So get rid of this big plastic disc and this protector, and this piece of cardboard. And you have your axle nuts on either side, and then you have these little washers that have a kind of a hook on them. This little hook here is going to go right inside of this. And this is just in case you didn't quite tighten up the front wheel enough and the front wheel came loose, that it couldn't just slide out. So we're trying to look out for you and keep everything nice and safe. So go ahead and loosen the axle nuts just a little bit on both sides. And look at the tread pattern. And sometimes there's an arrow on the tires of which way it should be spinning. But generally, you want these points on these tread patterns to be moving forward. So I can tell that this tire, just like this is the front. And this is going backwards. So I'm gonna take it this way and put it into the front of the bike here. And this just slips in between. And so let's just make sure that you know that these washers with the hook on them, they go on the outside of this fork. You're gonna notice that the wheel's not gonna fit in with the brakes here. And you don't wanna go fiddling with this bolt just yet. You don't wanna loosen that. We made it really easy. You just take a hold of this little metal piece here, and it actually just disconnects just like that. So no loosening or tightening, just a really easy process of taking, we call this the brake noodle. So you just take the brake noodle out of that little slot right there, and that will let you slide your front wheel right in there. And again, you just want your axle nuts to be just loose enough that your front wheel slides in. And then you put those washers with the hook on them into that little hole, just like so. Just like that. So once you've got the front wheel in and you make sure these washers are in their proper place, I'm gonna stand over here and I wanna be straight in front of your wheel here, and you wanna make sure that your tread lines up with the center of the fork.
It sounds like you're looking for an assembly video for the Huffy Stone Mountain bike. Huffy sometimes provides assembly guides on their website or YouTube channel. Would you like me to find an official video for you?